Hello and welcome everyone to the Sylvan Librarians YouTube channel. We are here today to talk about the March of the Machine Aftermath cards that have been spoiled so far. Not just the ones from the leak, they actually gave us proper spoilers now, which makes sense considering the set comes out on the 14th, I think.
I think it's
Is that
next
right?
week. I think it's next weekend, something like that.
Yeah, like that is fast. That's not just me, right? That's fast.
No, I mean, March of the Machine came out maybe a month ago or less. It's definitely not been over a month.
Yeah, and that I understand they're pursuing like a faster release schedule, but like that this is fast. It doesn't even feel like we're having a proper spoiler season. We get like spoilers and then we just get the release next week, which is anyway,
Yeah.
so release fatigue, here we come.
I don't know. I did want to ask
Um
you too, though, before we jump into the cards here. Did
yeah.
you heard about like the whole thing that went down with the guy who got these early
With the
with the
Pinkertons?
Pinkertons? Yeah.
Did you know the Pinkertons still existed?
Nope. Not until
I thought
Hasbro
they
used
just
them.
kind of like, yeah, I thought they were just like faded into obscurity in like the 1930s.
No,
Like,
but like, how crazy! Like, would I wanted to ask you, like, if you personally, like, if the Pinkertons showed up and told you had to give those cards back, would you do it?
first of all, I'm going to trade them because I want a Pinkerton autograph. Um, because apparently you guys still exist. So, um, I mean, I guess I don't know what my options are really. Like they're sending a goon squad after me, so
Yeah, but like, do you think legally they could have taken those cards back? Like, if
um
there is a shipment issue and that guy gets those early, because I think what happened was he bought them from his friend who got them by accident.
I don't know how that legally falls because like they shipped them by accident, but like I don't know. Like is it what is it? Is it a violation of trade secrets? Is it like
I don't
possession
know.
of a restricted IP? Like I don't know what the crime is here that they could pursue because like he didn't sign an NDA, so it's not trade secrets. Um, I guess maybe like an IP or a trademark violation because he published the cards without their consent. But like I honestly think that if he had decided to hang on to them, that any judge probably would have just thrown the case out. Because I don't
Yeah,
think they have a leg to stand on here. I could be wrong, but I'm usually
my
pretty up on how the law works, and I don't think that they really have a case.
my only hope is like he gets them back when the set officially
Oh
releases.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, that's not a great thing for them to be doing. If I'm being honest,
Yeah.
um, like it's a bit of an overreaction, guys. You send him the cards, and you send a goon squad after some friggin' pieces of cardboard. Hey, calm
Yeah.
down, y'all. It's cardboard.
But I mean, if anyone wants to know more about what happened with that, it's all over YouTube. You can go find someone else
Yeah,
who talks about it.
it really is. It's yeah. It was a thing. It was a thing that I don't even know if it was Wizards or just Hasbro or what, but it's certainly a different tack. Anyway, we're going to be talking about just three of our favorite cards each from the new set. There's some pretty interesting things that they're going to be doing in this set. Some fairly powerful things that I think will end up being staples, but we'll keep it relatively short.
Yeah.
Um,
Before
so
you jump into your cards, not jump into my cards though.
yeah, go for it.
Let's talk about the big one here, the big reprint of Training Grounds, so we can kind of get
Oh
that out of the
yeah,
way.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Training Grounds. It needed the reprint. Like it.
I'm trying to think. So it's getting reprinted here. It was originally printed in I think Rise of the Eldrazi. Let me scroll down here.
I think it
Yeah,
got reprinted
Rise
in
of the
double.
Eldrazi and the list, and then there's a Judge card from last year, and then
Oh,
this
there's a
is
judge.
the
It was the list, huh?
and then this. So like the card was sitting at like it's still sitting at about $30. It looks like, but I think I bought the one I own for like somewhere around $30. But if they do this kind of like big reprint of this card, I think this card could end up being $15 maybe, which is still good.
I mean, we'll see. It's a staple. Like It could just go all the way back up. I don't. It's not quite so much of a staple as like a like one of the fast mana for CEDH, because like those never stay down. You reprint a Mana Crypt, it's immediately back up to its full price in like a week.
Yeah. But for those
So
who
like
don't know,
I don't think it'll stabilize super low, but it'll hopefully get lower.
yeah, for those who don't know, Kyle, you want to tell them what Training Grounds does real quick?
Yeah, so Training Grounds, I believe I haven't actually looked it
Oh,
up.
here, I got it pulled up. I thought you had
Yeah,
it.
see, I don't have it pulled up.
So it's 1 blue mana for an enchantment and activate it. Well, are you having a good old time running around over there?
She's got the zoomies.
Yeah, can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. And here she comes. Okay.
She has definitely got the zoomies.
What is your deal? Okay, activated abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less to activate, and this effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1. So, for example, you have Thrasios, right? This would go wherever Thrasios is. His ability, pay 4, just 4 mana, scry 1, and then you reveal the top card. If it's a land card, you put it into play tapped, and then if it isn't, it just goes to your hand. So this makes that cost 2.
That's much better for 2 than it is for 4. Like, normally that's not even an ability that you use unless you have infinite mana and you're just going to draw your deck.
Yeah.
But, like, for 2, like, that's actually an ability I might use. A lot of people use it for Kenrith as well, because it turns it into, like, you know, pay 1 in a blue, draw a card, pay 1 in a white, gain 6 life.
Yeah, but in Kenrith too, since you're 5 colors, you get to run Training Grounds, you get Biomancer's Familiar, Heartstone,
yeah.
Zerda. Is it Zerda? Is that the name of it?
The companion.
Yeah, their Boros one. So you get
can't
all
run
those.
it as a companion, but you can put it in the 99.
Yeah, but if you get like just 2 of those out, I don't know, maybe 3, you get to turn all his abilities just for whatever color it is. Like there's no generic cost.
As long as we're talking about activated abilities real quick, there's one that I wanted to do an honorable mention of with Tazri, Stalwart Survivor.
Oh, this is one I wanted to talk about, but it didn't make my
yeah, I feel like it deserves an honorable mention because it's basically the companion, or it's not exactly the companion, but it's the activated abilities matter.
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick here.
Yeah. It's, I'll just read it off. Each creature you control, first of all, it costs 2 and a white for a legendary human warrior. But it's actually 5 colors because it's got Wooburg in its activation cost. And it's got each creature you control has tap to add 1 mana of any of this creature's colors. Spend this mana only to activate an ability of a creature. And activate only if this creature has another activated ability. And then it has pay Wooburg, tap and mill 5 cards, put all creature cards with activated abilities that aren't mana abilities from among the milled cards into your hand. So that's really good for if you want to do an activated abilities matters. And I feel like normally I'd be kind of mad about them printing another 5-color commander that doesn't cost Wooburg.
That's my problem with it.
But that's really specific.
No, it is. It's very specific.
It's the same reason that Tazri, like the other Tazri, doesn't really see any play, is just because the ability on it is so specific that like nobody really it's party commander, which is I'm not super threatened by that. My biggest problem is when they do Wooburg commanders that don't cost Wooburg and then they're just generically good like Kenrith.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that, but I did think that was interesting that they're actually doing a activated abilities matter. I thought that was pretty neat. So, actually getting to the meat of the video that
our now instead of 6 cards or 7 cards, we talk about 8 cards.
Yeah. So the first one I'm going to talk about is Nissa Resurgent Animus. This one will be quick because it's fairly straightforward. So it's 2 and a green for a legendary creature Elf Scout, and it has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, add 1 mana of any color. Then, if this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an elf or elemental card. Put that card into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So, it's Lotus Cobra, and also, I think, is that Herald's Horn, I think? That lets you look at the top?
Herald's Horn is just the single card at the top. This one you reveal, so it's
Right, right,
I
right.
can't really think what to compare it to right now.
Yeah, I don't know if it has an analog. But anyway, it always does Lotus Cobra. But then if it's the second time that the ability has resolved specifically, then you also get to look at the
Like
oh
for
yeah,
an elf.
you just cascade off the top until you hit a elf or an elemental.
Yeah, but you're not
So
cascading; it goes to your hand.
no, it goes to your hand, but like you will go until you hit one of those. There's no chance of whiffing.
Yeah,
Which I think is pretty dang good for a 3 mana creature.
yeah. I'm sad.
Especially
Yeah,
why?
it's just another good thing for elves.
It's a good thing for elves. Luckily, I don't really, apart from Lathril, which I see fewer and fewer of, I just don't see a great many elf decks running around in the wild. Yeah, it's kind of like sliver decks, where like yes, they're oppressive and horrible, but also when was the last time you saw a sliver deck? Um, like I feel like the ones that are super oppressive and mean like that kind of make their way out of the meta because no one likes playing against them, and so they just have a horrible social time every time they play them.
Yeah, I think the way I would like to see, I'm not going to build this deck just because it's not really something I'd be interested in. But if someone sat across from me and was like, "Oh, I'm playing new Nissa elves," right? I'm going to be like, "Oh, okay, cool. I mean,
All right.
that's what you want to do. That's fine." But if someone was like, "Nah, I'm doing elementals only," I'd be a lot more excited to see what it
No,
does.
see that's the thing is I actually think that as a commander I probably wouldn't run it unless I'm playing Elf Tribal. And if I'm playing Elf Tribal, I still don't think that this is a good commander to run because I should just run Lathril. Um,
I mean, yeah, you run Lathril, you put this in the 9/9, but Lathril
yeah,
also gives you that access to black. So
yeah, and so I think that this at least pretty much only belongs in the 99 for Elf decks and Elemental decks. However, I don't think it's particularly a small thing. There's some very powerful elves and elementals in the game. Matter of fact, you could even use this as like kind of a pseudo tutor. Like, let's say you have one powerful elf or one powerful elemental in your deck. Like, let's say you just use this to fetch yourself all a Heart of the Wilds,
yeah,
and then it also acts as a Lotus Cobra. Like, you have Selvala in your deck, you just use it as a Lotus Cobra, but when you play your second land each turn, you just it's not Cascade, but it's kind of Cascade into your big mana piece. Like that could be a great use for it. I'm putting it in my Crash deck because it has so many elementals and its card advantage.
yeah. Like just looking at it, you would think the landfall trigger's hard to hit, but in green, it's
No,
really not.
no, yeah, landfall's super super easy to hit with green, and you got to remember like it's not when you play a land, it's when a land enters the battlefield. So if rampant growthed into another land, that still counts as your second land for turn.
Yeah,
You don't have to be
it's
using
just
something like Oracle Moldiah or
yeah.
whatever.
I don't think it's gonna be super restrictive. It doesn't have to be a landfall themed deck. Just in green,
Yeah,
you incidentally play more than one.
yeah. But I
So
mean, that's the thing. That's the thing too. Is even if it only acted as a Lotus Cobra, I feel like Lotus Cobra could be 3 mana, and I would still play it. Like
that's called a
Lotus Cobra,
tireless provisioner, and it makes a
I
treasure
think so. It
instead
makes a
of
treasure, yeah, which is a little better.
yeah.
I mean, this is a little better and more because it's card advantage and ramp. Um, so yeah, that's my first one. I think it goes really well in the 99. I think it's okay as a commander, but I think in the 99 it's much better there.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. My first one is Nashi Moon's Legacy. I picked this for one specific reason, and it's why are we getting so much rat support?
Um,
So, like, yeah, this is a
so this isn't a card that you're wild about. This is one that you're like, I don't understand why this exists.
like it's Sultai, right? So black, green, blue for menace, ward
Yeah.
1, 3/4, legendary creature, rat shaman. And then whenever Nashi Moon's Legacy attacks, you exile up to one target legendary or rat card from your graveyard and copy it, and then you may cast the copy. So you don't get to cast it for free. So that's if people are confused about that, but you do get to cast it that turn. Um, well, you cast it as soon as it happens, not until end of turn. So it ignores timing restrictions. Um,
Don't I don't understand.
I could I can see this in New Joda in the 99. You know,
Oh, okay,
some sort of
because you can throw out a legendary from your graveyard and copy it. Okay,
yeah.
I could see that.
But I'm sitting here wondering why this cares about rats so much. Like
I mean,
we,
it is a rat, so
but I think
I mean, I think it's nice to see a rat commander that isn't a rat commander. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know what you mean. But how many rats are there that are in green and blue? I
Uh,
didn't look this up. I mean, we could look it up real fast. I didn't look
I'm
it up.
fairly certain almost all rats are mono black, and I'm pretty sure there are like 2 or 3 that are Demir.
Yeah, so it's not like crazy, right?
No, it's not. I don't know why the green is in there at all.
Well, that's what I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, did they just give us a rat colony commander with ramp and counter spells?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Like, is that what they did?
I kind of hope that's not what they were going for, but like even if it's not what they're going for, it is indeed what they have
Yeah,
done.
it's rat colony. You have ramp counter spells. Um,
No.
you have draw, like really good draw now with blue and green in there, right?
Yeah, because with Thrumming Stone, it wasn't good enough.
It's just like okay. I mean, it's
Um,
I wanted this like I picked cards I wanted to actually discuss, like get your ideas of here, not just like that I necessarily liked them.
yeah, that's that is kind of what they did. Um, see here's my question though: does that make a rat deck too unfocused to work?
Not if you're like running. So think about it this way, right? You run who was the new black rat commander that we just got?
Oh no, from Kamigawa, I think.
No, from All Will Be One. How Kara something.
I
Um,
didn't know we got a rat commander from All Will Be One. I'll be honest.
hold on.
Okay.
Karamonix the Rat King is the one here that we just got in Phyrexia All Will Be One. One black, toxic 1/3/3. Other rats you control have toxic 1. And when Karamonix ETBs, you look at the top 5 cards of your library, you reveal any number of rats, and you put those into your hand and the rest on the bottom.
Hate that. That's terrible.
So you have something like this mono black, right? Where you're running a bunch of rat colonies, like as many rats
Yeah.
as you can. So you're not filling that completely with rat colonies, right? You're not running like 60 rat colonies, 39 lands, and a Karamonix.
Yeah.
Like that's not what you're doing. So you've basically taken Karamonix with Nashi, and now Nashi's just like, hey, those other cards that you really just filled with mono black good stuff. Now you can draw cards, you can tutor, you can look for lands, you can counter spells. So you still have the same focus that a rat colony deck would have with the amount that you would use, but now you're given more colors for more tools, like a heroic intervention or something to protect your board. Like that's how
or a
that's,
Cyclone Rift and I win.
like I don't think people are gonna play this as Sultai legendaries when you can
No.
just play 5
Just
color
play
new
5
Joda.
color legendaries. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's here's the thing. Here's the saving grace. I don't think anybody's gonna play this card. Uh I think this card is going to go into the bulk box, and I don't think after today you'll ever see it again.
See, I hope so, because if I have to come up against a rat colony deck that can counter me and ramp faster than me, I'm not going to have a good time.
Listen, you're just gonna have to do, as I've been saying for like over a year now, you're just gonna have to start running more stacks pieces. So every deck with black has to run lethal vapors now.
Anyway,
I mean,
yeah, that's...
I'll be honest, between this and like the new Joda, I feel like it's almost warranted to run lethal vapors anyway.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know how to stop a Joda deck except for with lethal vapors. And I don't want to do that.
You kill Joda every time he comes down, and that's...
Yeah, you just don't let him.
But yeah, anyway, that's my 2 cents on this card. So
yeah, I listen. I don't think we'll see it again, but I'm with you. I hope we don't. All right, so my next one. This one's crazy to me. This card is crazy. So it's Sigarda, Font of Blessings. It costs 2 green white, and has flying. And it's a legendary creature. This is commander. And it's an angel. Has flying, and other permanents you control have hexproof. You may look at the top card of your library at any time, and you may cast angel spells and human spells from the top of your library. Okay. Other permanents you control have hexproof.
I think old Sigarda does that as well, though. Sigarda,
Does she only cost 4?
no, I think that one's like 5 or 6.
Yeah, that seems more fair. And also,
host of something, I think is what it is.
and I think that's all she does is the thing. Like you get to look at the top card of your library. You don't have to reveal it. You just look at it. I like the balancing better when you have to have the top card of your library revealed, so that you get card advantage, but it's not full card advantage. Like, if you've got a Avacyn chilling on the top of your deck, they know about it, and if you're going to cast it from there, then you're gonna they're gonna see it.
The other Sigarda I'm thinking of, Host of Herons, is 5 mana, 5/5 flying, hexproof, and then spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to sacrifice permanents.
Yeah, see, that's not nearly as powerful because like people just don't run forced sacrifice that often. Often enough, it is a nice thing to have. Like, other permanents you control have hexproof for 4. Like, if it only did that, it would be power creeped. Like, that's pushed.
Yeah.
And then it also does other stuff. So, like, you can play a big crazy angel deck, and now you have green, so you can ramp better. That was like the one saving grace of angel decks. Is like, you've got a bunch of flyers, but it takes them a minute to get there because white is so bad at ramping. Or like, you can play like a Lysa or Lisa, I don't know how you say it. Like, then you have Orzhov, which is also not super great at ramping.
Well,
Gonna give him Selesnya, which is going to be great at ramping.
What was the one from Streets of New Command? Was it Gaeta? Font of Hope or something?
Oh, Gaeta?
The one where it just adds... It's a mana dork in your command zone. It just adds a white, but you can only use it to cast angels.
I don't actually know this one.
Gaida, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Each other angel you control enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on... Yeah, but that's still only mono white.
No, that's what I'm saying. So this is like just you get ramp from that one just as a mana dork, but this one is giving you green to where you can ramp more.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, I think the closest comparison for trying to ramp angels is Gaida.
Well, and especially like green also has like life gains. Like you can have a life gain sub theme and then run things like Dawn of Hope. You can run Cryptolith right to give yourself more ramp and make more angels, and like angel decks did not need help.
Well, so I'm wondering though, do you run this more as a human deck with big beater angels like Avacyn?
I guess you could.
So you can
That's not a bad idea.
You can keep your curve lower, and like what you said with Cryptolith, right? You're getting out humans to just use as mana dorks.
Oh, you made it worse somehow. I was down on this card enough. You made it worse.
Look, my brain does this. I deck ideas in my head when I see a card.
That's definitely worse than just angels. Like, both are bad. And all right, if you're running a humans deck, come on, it's Winota. Well, I'm not gonna have a good time. You're the only one that's gonna have a good time.
Well, so like in here, like I see this card, right? I think of it as humans with big beater angels, so you can run something like Torrens. So like every time you cast a creature, you're getting your 1/1 humans that with training every time. And because the angels are going to be so big that you play that training is going to give them counters over and over.
Oh.
Like,
that's really good. Well, especially because if you have Torrens, like Torrens and a Cryptolith, right? Then you're just making tons of humans, and like you can easily just crap out a Avacyn on like, turn 4.
Yeah, no, like I think that's how I would build this. I don't think I'd build it straight angels or straight humans.
No, yeah, I think you're right. I think that's optimal, and I don't like, especially because like there are so many powerful human lords and angel lords, and now they all have hex proof.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's your permanents too. So there's a lot of white enchantments. Like,
yeah,
is it
the crazy white
intangible? No,
enchantments.
Glorious Anthem gives all your creatures +1/+1.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
and
So
also if you're doing the kind of make lots of humans, that also means that your Itlamok can't be targeted now. Which is like the one saving grace of running like Itlamok or Gaia's Cradle is that someone can blow them up with a strip mine. But like, not anymore.
you have stuff like
I honestly I think this is kind of kill on sight because it's
yeah.
other permanents you control. So I think anytime this comes down, I think you just have to kill it.
One sec. Let me see something. Oh, I'm about to hurt you so bad. Okay, so I took apart
No, you found a combo, didn't you?
no, not a combo, just a card that I thought of because I took apart my enchantment deck recently.
Uh-huh.
Don't ask me why this was in there. I just kind of threw stuff together. So it's a Maya Guard Protector from Kaldheim. Two. I'll throw this up on screen for everyone else. 2 green, white for a 2/3 human warrior. Other creatures you control get +1/+1, and then landfall. Create a 1/1 human warrior.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
Like, you're in green. So you're gonna get those landfall triggers, but then like
Oh.
it's with this out landfall basically have a 2/2 human.
No, listen, I don't think I can overstate it. This commander is kill on sight. It's just this is gonna get out of control so quickly. Like if they have built this deck competently, it's just going to be a nightmare for you just about immediately.
No, yeah, as
So,
soon as they have hexproof, you gotta take out Sigarda, you gotta counter
Yeah.
Sigarda, like
like like immediately. Maybe wait like a turn for them to get off the ground. Like wait for them to get a turn, get their board established, then kill Sigarda and board wipe. And that's how you stop this one.
yeah.
Because otherwise, it's going to be like that stupid soldier commander that I have on Arena, Mural, I think it's called. The one that it's the brain dead soldier deck that just runs out of. It's basically White Cranko. It just runs out of control if you let it live for even a turn. So, yeah, that's Sigarda. So there we go.
I just want you to know I saw this card when you told me, and I just came up with like 3 different ways that I would make everyone hate it.
Because that's what you do.
All right.
So, yeah. Be on the lookout.
My next one is not a legendary creature or a creature at all. It is Open the Way. Now, this is one I'm kind of interested in hearing your opinion on here.
Yep.
I think it won't be a staple, I don't think, but I think it's a pretty good land tutor. So you sorry, my brain farted for a second. So green X for a sorcery. X cannot be greater than the number of players in the game. So X can only be a max of 4, so 6 mana max. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X land cards, and you put those land cards onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom in a random order.
Not gonna lie, that's pretty good.
So it's 6 mana for 4 random lands. Okay. So
I feel
for,
like
for
you
reference,
never pay less than 4 for this.
Well, yeah. So for reference,
not X. I think you pay 2 green. 1 green is not good value.
No.
But two. I think 2 green is the lowest that you pay for this. The only problem is that it's random lands.
Well, so that's what I'm going to say here. So the closest thing, like I think to this, kind of the same idea, is Tempt with Discovery, which is 3 and a green with Tempting Offer, right? So like whoever searches for a land with you, you get an additional land, and that's only 4 mana for a max of 4 lands.
Yeah.
Right? But
so
those
you pay 2 extra to get a guarantee of 4 lands.
Yeah, but with this, the later in the game, like if someone's knocked out, you can't pay for that person. You can only pay for 3.
Yeah.
or two,
Right.
right?
I think, but to be fair, by the time you're casting this, like you're probably, this isn't going to be like an early, this is going to be like a early mid game kind of cast. Like you're not going to want to cast this late game unless you have to. Um
Yeah, but like so with Tempt with Discovery, right? The lands come how they would onto the field, so if they would enter untapped, they come in untapped.
oh wait, does it do that too?
No, this makes them come in tapped.
Okay.
So 4 mana off attempting Discovery, Tempt with Discovery, if no one else searches, but you get 4 mana to tutor out like your best land, I would still argue that's better use of 4 mana than 2 random lands off the top.
It kind of depends. Cuz like if you've built your deck competently and you've kind of agonized over your land base, which if you're in more than 2 colors, you probably have agonized over your land base a little bit, then you should be able to hit 2 random lands and have it usually be good. Like the only thing that I can see for me at least, the thing that I am dreading and the reason I probably won't ever run this is because I really like those cards like Gateway Plaza that you have to pay 1 when they come in, but they tap for any color. So like, if I tap 6 and that's all the mana I have, and I hit, you know, all of my pay 1 lands and they all go to the graveyard, even if I just hit 1, that feels really bad.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too. Like, what is the limit of decks? Like, I don't think I would run this in more than a 2 color, maybe 3 color deck. I don't think I'd run this in a 4 or 5.
See, I don't think I would run it in a 3, 4, or 5 color deck, but not because I don't think it's good in there, but because of the specific way that I build and because I like those any color lands. Like my philosophy is if a land comes in tapped, it should tap for any color. That's my philosophy. You may disagree with that, but that's my
No,
philosophy.
I disagree, but
like
we can get into that a different time.
Tap lands feel bad, especially when they only tap for 2 colors. That's not great. Sometime we'll have to talk about how much I hate the ones that have a tap land on the back, the MDFCs, and it's like a monocolor tap land. Atrocious, terrible game design. Hate it.
But yeah, I just don't see this one getting played too often just because of the random factor and that we have stuff like Tempt with Discovery.
Yeah. I mean, but to be fair though, I think it's not too bad in mono green because you're just going to be hitting forests anyway.
You'll be hitting forest or utility lands.
Yeah, forest utility lands. There's a chance you hit like your Yavimaya, which is fine.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think like in mono or 2 colors, it's fine because you're not really, your mana base isn't your big focus there. Where
so you aren't worried about you're not going to hit a land that's going to like screw you over. Like you're not going to hit a gold land in a 2 color.
Yeah, we're
deck.
like if you're
in a 2 color deck, you're mostly running basics.
Yeah, and then you'll run your check lands or like you can run your tapped Scrylands or something, right?
Yeah, or your pathways or.
But
like,
even
if you hit a pathway, it gets to come in however you want. So.
But because of how your mana needs to be in a 4 or 5 color deck and some 3 color decks, I don't think the random factor off the top is going to be super great.
Here's a question: if you hit a pathway land off of this ability,
it comes down on the front side.
It comes down automatically on the front side.
I think so.
That's not great. I think you're right, but that's not great. If you got to choose, that would be better.
Because
but like is one card. That's one thing that I consistently run in all of my 2 color decks is the pathways because they're so
it's because the card itself is the front side. Where like when you play it from your hand, you can play it on the back side.
Yeah.
So like same with the MDFCs, if you can return a land from your graveyard, you can't return a Balaged Recovery even though it's a land on the other side.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know how much play it'll see. I think it'll see some.
I think it'll be one of those cards like you have laying around, and when you just build a deck, you toss this in there as a until you want something better.
I honestly think no, that's too complex. Okay, here's my idea. I recognize that it's too complex, but I feel like it would make this more playable. Is that it's X green, but then you say this spell costs 1 less to cast if X is 3 or greater. because I feel like paying 6 for that ability is not great. I feel like paying 5 is doable, and I feel like
Well, so
paying
if you have stuff like,
I feel like paying 3 and a green would be okay.
well,
That would
so
be fine.
let's say you're in a Simic deck, right, where you have stuff like, how come I can't think of the name now? The new blue enchantment where every upkeep you put an oil counter on it, and your instants and sorceries cost 1 less for each oil counter.
Yeah.
Or just anything in blue that reduces your cost of instants and sorceries, right? So there is theoretically a way you could make this just cost green for 4
Yeah.
lands.
Which yeah, that's true. You know, running like a Goblin Archaeomancer makes it cost 1 less. So
Yeah.
yeah, or your medallions or whatnot. You could play it. It's not an unplayable card, but
No, I think it's like just
it's just a tiny bit overcosted for what it does.
yeah, which is fine. We don't need a ton of power creep, but
No, we don't need. No, we have plenty. We have plenty of power creep. I'd be satisfied with parity. That's fine with me. So, my last card. Another 5-color commander. This used to be something special. Now we get like 4 of them in every set. Woohoo! Thank you, Wizards.
Woo! Not to mention, this is the second 5-color Niv Mizzet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more okay with this because it does cost Wooburg to cast, but it's Niv Mizzet Supreme. Cost Wooburg. Legendary creature Dragon Avatar. Has flying and hexproof from monocolored. And then each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard that is exactly 2 colors has Jumpstart. Which means you may cast that card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs, then exile it. So, it's basically Flashback, except for you have to discard in order to cast it. So my idea, and I may actually build this. We'll see. We'll see. I'll have to look at it. The difficult thing is actually going to be setting up the Scryfall search because I don't know that there's a way to actually set up the syntax to search for spells that are exactly 2 colors. I don't think that it has syntax settings for that.
No, but you could just you'd have to do individual searches for each guild.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a lot. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. But the way I kind of plan to tech this is by doing a madness deck, effectively, like having a bunch of madness cards in there, because you want to discard madness cards. So, you can play a Body of Research, and then discard a madness card, play Body of Research again, and then cast the madness card from your graveyard. Like you could get into some pretty crazy, I don't know, combos. Is you could generate quite a lot of value, and like just off the top of my head, Body of Research, that's a crazy good card that in one turn you could easily cast twice, especially like 5 colors. You should not be having any sort of trouble getting enough mana.
No, but it is a very restrictive cost.
Yes, it is a restrictive cost. Well, Body of Research is all hybrid mana, is it not?
Nope. It's blue, green. Blue, green.
Oh, that is harder to cast. Okay, I thought it was like 6 Simic hybrid symbols.
Nope.
Okay, yeah, that does make a difference. But even so, you could do it. You could do it.
I mean, even casting it one turn and then the next turn casting it again.
Yeah, like it's doable. It's doable. I don't think this is like I don't think this is like an S tier commander. It's pretty good though. It's like A tier.
I'd say it's like a B plus.
You think so? Okay, tell me why.
So I don't think it's bad, right? It's just I don't like Jumpstart as a mechanic.
Okay.
So let's just say, for example, I think a fun way to do this is Madness. There's other things I want to say about this, but we're just talking about Jumpstart right now. You have, for example, your Body of Research is in the graveyard, right? So you're discarding a card to cast that instant sorcery. I would do it where I am discarding another 2-colored instant and sorcery to my graveyard to then flash that one back.
Oh, okay, I see.
So like discard a Mortify or anguished
Yeah.
unmaking, right? Um, I just don't like Jumpstart because of the card disadvantage it gives you. Where with Madness, it takes that away.
The question is though, then you could also run this as like a self mill deck, and then it's more like then of course you only get one cast off of all your 2-color spells because you're casting them from the graveyard and
Yeah,
then
but in a
exiling
in a
them.
Spellslinger deck like this, you're running things like Swarm Intelligence, Double Vision. You're running
Yeah.
those doublers.
Yeah, so like if you ran this as a self mill kind of deck, just to fill your graveyard as quickly as you can, and then cast big instants and sorceries from there, I think that could be fairly powerful.
Yeah, but that's the thing too. So with your Jumpstart, you follow the timing
Mm-hmm.
restrictions of the card. So, like for example, if you self mill, right, and then you have counter spells in your graveyard, you can still cast those when people cast stuff. So it's
Right.
just giving you access to like your graveyard is now a bigger part of your hand.
Right, it's just your hand again. Well, it's the same thing. No, my brain just emptied itself. Sorry. Uh, but no, I think it is pretty good. It does give quite a bit of card advantage if you were to run it in a self mill fashion because milling, as far as cost to cards, milling is quite a bit cheaper. Like just for reference, in order like to do it to an enemy, Rune Crab and Hedron Crab both cost a single blue, and whenever a land enters the battlefield, it causes them to mill 3. So
Well,
like
Ruin Crab is just better, but
yeah. Well, and that's I think that's only opponents, but like
Ruin Crab is each opponent, where Hedron Crab is target opponent.
gotcha. But like just to kind of give you an idea of Wizards is much less restrictive on what you can get for mill. Like if there may very well be something that's 1 mana mill 3, which that's
There's
Ancestral Recall. Congrats.
there's a few cards that just mill you for a good amount.
I honestly think this might you could honestly maybe just build this as a graveyard deck. Run like a Crucible of Worlds, chain a Dementia Master to get creatures back from the graveyard. Like you're not going to want to do a great deal of that, but run some other graveyard pieces to get other things other than instants and sorceries out of your graveyard. Um, Underworld Breach goes kind of crazy on this one. If you did a mill strategy, then Underworld Breach, exile a bunch of the cards, cast one of your 2-color spells, recast it again with Niv Mizzet's ability. Like you could do some interesting, cool spell slingery things in here that I think are kind of unique to this commander. The only other analog I would say is Kess, but I think this is strictly speaking just better than Kess in pretty much every way.
So my favorite part about this Niv Mizzet though is the hexproof from monocolored.
That is pretty nice.
Because so many removal spells are monocolored.
Well, people deliberately run monocolored spells because they're less restrictive
Yeah, that's
to
like
cast for
Beast
removal.
Within, Chaos Warp, Generous
Yeah.
Gift, Swords to Plowshares. Like all those cards are staples just because they're not that hard to cast.
Yeah, I've seen people talking about how like they specifically cut like Culling Ritual and Putrefy, um, because too they're too difficult to cast. You have to keep the exact right kind of mana open instead of keeping a single white mana open for a Swords to Plowshares or a Path to Exile.
Give
So
me,
yeah,
give me one
I
sec,
agree.
sir. My dog is chewing on something.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm back. Go ahead. Finish.
What was
you're
she
saying.
doing on?
She found a paper towel roll and ripped it apart.
Oh, nice. Our dog always went for empty water bottles. She loved making noise with them. It was like crack for her. Um. All right. Now I'm saying. I think the only no analog is cast. And I already said that.
Well, this also kind of reminds
Right.
me of New
The
Omnath too, though.
I
So like, not in
kind
the
of.
not in the 2-color sense, but just like this one cares about 2 colors, where New Omnath cared about 3 or more colors.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that's honestly less like this Niv Mizzet is like New Omnath and more like New Omnath is like old Niv Mizzet. Because that was the whole thing with Niv Mizzet, the
Reborn.
Maroon. Reborn, the 5-color one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get to reveal cards from the top of your library and get color pairs. Also, I didn't even think about it. That goes really good in the 99 of this one.
Well,
Actually, they're interchangeable. Really, you can put either one in the command
which
zone.
one would you prefer to run as a commander?
I would rather run the new one as the commander, but that's only because I feel like it's more interesting. Whereas the older one is strictly card advantage. Not that that's bad, but because I like to build my decks in a unique a way as possible, and I feel like that the older one just isn't as unique because it's just card advantage, which is
No,
fine.
see, I would run the old one, the Reborn.
Yeah, but you really like drawing cards.
Yeah, that's just our different place. Like, I think the other one is
Yeah,
just more powerful, especially
no,
all.
I think objectively it probably is. Um, the only problem is that one doesn't get like this one isn't exactly one color pair, so you can't get it off the top, which means if you hit it, you're going to put it back on the bottom, which is kind of unfortunate because this is a really good utility card in a Niv the fireman. Which one?
Niv the Reborn. No,
Be
just because they
straight.
both care about two colors, so you could just interchange them. Whatever.
Yeah,
Um, but
but
yeah,
I do feel like they would be somewhat different commanders. Like if you built this on the self mill strategy, I feel like switching it out for old Niv it wouldn't be super effective.
no. But if you're just building two color
Yeah, if you're just
guild
doing two
stuff,
color good stuff, like. But yeah, I think it's a good card. I didn't actually honestly notice that too much, the hexproof part, but yeah, that's gonna make it kind of hard to kill because people just don't run a lot of removal that's more than one color.
yeah. But my last card is actually one I probably won't build it just because I don't build creature decks, but it is one I actually like, so it's not like a. Let's just talk about it. But it is Arnie Metalbrow. It is a 2 in a red legendary creature, human berserker, 3/3. Whenever a creature you control attacks or a creature enters the battlefield under your control attacking, you may pay 1 in a red. If you do, you may put a creature card with mana value lesser than that creature's mana value from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. It's
It's good.
it's a more fun sneak attack.
Yeah, I feel like it is just it's a sneak attack deck, but you can put it in the command zone.
And the cards don't. Does sneak attack sacrifice or bounce to your hand? I can't remember. It
I
does.
believe sneak attack bounces to your.
I can't remember.
No, it's sacrifice. Bouncing it to your hand would be way too powerful.
But it's just like you get it for the one turn. Where with this one, you pay 1 in a red, even though it's on attack or whatever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be Arnie attacking, which is nice.
Right, it's just any creature that attacks.
Right, so just like you have an Atali out, so 6 mana right there. You swing with your Atali, you get the Atali triggers, but then you also get to pay your 1 in a red, and now you get to put any creature from your hand that's 5 mana or less onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. And then when that enters tapped and attacking, you get to pay. You could pay another 1 in a red to put something that's 4 mana. So
Yeah,
it's
so
just
you'd want to run a lot of things in your deck that put things onto the battlefield tapped and attacking, because it does actually let you abuse that. Because most of the time, this is for anybody who doesn't know, this is important. When you have a creature that has a triggered ability that says whenever like a creature you control attacks, if a creature you control enters the battlefield tapped and attacking, it does not trigger that.
it doesn't
Because
trigger
it
attack
never
triggers.
attacked. Because it was not declared as an attacker, it just entered the battlefield with the status attacking. So this one, they specifically wrote around that to say, no, whenever a creature you control attacks or enters the battlefield tapped and attacking, then you get this trigger, which I think is cool. I think that's a neat thing
I
to
think
do.
it would be really fun as a commander, but this in the 99 of Kalia of the Vast.
Oh yeah, that just goes ham in the paint. Like
Like, okay, let me play my Avacyn, right? You swing with your Kalia, you play Avacyn, tapped and attacking, you have Arnie out. Now your Avacyn, it's 8 mana, boom, out. Now you get to play an Angel, Demon, or Dragon from your hand for 1 in a red, and then you get to play another one for 1 in a red, where you're reducing that cost so much, and you get to keep them. Where sneak attack gets rid of them after the turn.
Yeah. Does Kalia what does she have black?
She's Mardu, yeah, red, white, black.
Oh, cool. So you can even run like Carnival of Souls, so you just like keep it's not red mana, but you keep generating mana to pay the generic cost and ew.
Yeah, it's just and with Kalia, she doesn't sacrifice them either. So it's just to me that I think this is a shoe-in staple for that kind of
No,
deck.
it absolutely. I mean, like Kali is a really good commander as is. This just makes her faster.
Which we
Like
we
if
didn't
you get
need.
this and an Avacyn down, you're done. You win. You know, I'll just scoop at sorcery speed. That's cool.
Well, like think about it. So you get Arnie down turn 3, right? Kalia turn 4, or you could Kalia turn 3 if you have your ram like a mana rock or something.
Yeah.
Arnie on turn 4, you swing and attack, right? So, we'll say turn 4. If you got Kalia out turn 3, you need 4 mana total. So turn 4, you have 5 mana. You put Arnie down, leaving you your 2 mana for your 1 and a red left. Swing with your Kalia, put down an Avacyn, and then off that Avacyn trigger, you put something else in, right? So now you got indestructible and something else.
Right.
Like just I can see this doing some things where people are you're killing someone turn 4 or turn 5.
I think it's also I think it's also definitely a shoe in for what is it? Ishin Two Heavens is one. It's the new it's Panharmonicon for attacking from Kamigawa.
Yeah, the Mardu attack triggers double.
Yeah, I found one on the sidewalk the other day. It's the only reason I'm thinking about it. Yeah, it was outside the game store here in Harriman, and it'd been like walked on. I threw it away because it was too damaged to honestly even play with. But it's like, oh, cool, free magic card. Anyway, but yeah, because you put this in there, and now anytime a creature you control attacks, you get to do Arnie's thing twice. So
only off the initial attack, though.
Yes.
The ones
only off the initial attack, but then if you put something into play tapped and attacking with some other ability, then it'll trigger twice as well. So, or no,
it won't.
No, only off the initial attack because Yishin would not double it.
Yeah, Yishin is the one thing we talked about where the attack trigger has to be declared.
Yeah. But if you do put something into play tapped and attacking, then it will trigger itself again. So,
yeah, so like you have Yishin out, right? You swing with something. Yishin puts two triggers of this on the board. And then, yeah, you go creature, put another thing in, then the other. So it is essentially 2 each time. It's just not, you're not, what's the word? Exponentially increasing that every time.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a good card. If you like to play aggro decks, this is a great card for you. There's really no downside.
Yeah, I just think this would be, I probably won't ever build it just because I don't like creature decks.
Yeah.
But if
I also think it may actually be better in the 99 than it is in the command zone. Not because it's not good in the command zone, but because of the color restrictiveness.
Yeah, I just think if someone sat down with this at a pod with me, I think it would be a fun time.
Yeah, no, I think this would be... And I think if you did run this in the command zone, I think this would be a fun kind of mid-power commander. Because yes, it can do crazy things, but also, like, it's in mono red. So, it can't do things that are too crazy. Though my Feldon deck does do some pretty crazy things. So don't underestimate mono red. But most of the time, mono red doesn't really... Mono red needs help from like at least one other color to really do super crazy things most of the time. So I think it would make a good kind of mid-power commander. And everybody should have a few mid-power commanders, even if you normally play high power, because not everybody plays high power. It's also not that fun to play high power all the time. So
yeah, it's your opinion, but
no, listen,
I got decks for every power level, so whenever I play with someone, I got.
Well, and you can't dispute either that like one of the funnest times that we had was at Magic Summit when we had the 6-man low power plane chase pod. That was so much fun. It was really stupid, but it was so much fun.
It was a ton of fun, and I won that
Yeah,
one.
that was nowhere near high power. So
I do enjoy high power games though, just because like I'm.
No, yeah,
like,
I enjoy high power games too.
I'm like Goku, where I like you to go all out against me when I'm going all out.
Listen, I like all power levels. I like they're all. I don't know if I like CEDH. I haven't played that yet, but soon. But I think that is just about all we have got for today. Have you got anything else for us?
No. Go watch the TikToks if you haven't watched the TikToks, and
yeah, go watch the TikToks. We opened packs.
Oh, that is something I wanted to talk about now that we're here at the end. When we hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, I want to do a giveaway live stream, and I'm going to give away some cards that I have to people.
Generous lad.
For example, like a Sylvan library, because we're the Sylvan Librarians.
That's true. That's true.
So we'll have that. I'll have other cards too. I just have to go through my stuff to see what I'm willing to part with. And I'm not talking like, $1 or $2 cards here. I'll have some nice ones.
And we are getting fairly close to that goal. So if you are watching,
we're at Satan's number currently. We're at 666.
Oh, we're 666. Oh.
Yeah.
So if someone would like to come save us from our eternal damnation and come follow our TikTok, that would be we would much appreciate it. Yeah, I think that's
for the TikTok people too, because I'll cut this and make a TikTok about this.
Yeah, and it's just at Sylvan Librarians, just like our name.
It's got the little gorilla.
Yeah, it's got the gorilla. That is an AI-generated gorilla. We will tell you about that.
We have to come up with a name for the gorilla.
It can't be Harambe. He's dead. But
we'll think about it.
We'll think about it. If anybody in the comments has a good idea, clever name for a gorilla, let us know. Anyway, that's about all we got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.